Timeout!
Hi and welcome to Timeout. I hope you haven't been naughty, and I hope that's not the reason you're here, because I like to consider timeout a reward, not a punishment. You're going to be rewarded if you're Boone Central-Newman Grove, because they burned O'Neill. 42-0 win over the defending Class C1 state champs. O'Neill had won 15 games in a row. They had been impressive all last year. They kind of sputtered a little bit against Ord, but they won the game. Now Levi Kruger made them sputter completely this week. 3 touchdown runs, 24 carries, 129 yards for Boone Central-Newman Grove. They were physically dominant up front, something that not only Kruger talked about, quarterback Dylan Gentrup and coach Mark Hudson.
Man, when them guys up front, they're doing their job, they're working hard every play, it just makes everything so much easier for me. I just got to focus on doing me, just got to find the hole and get 5.
And they're a lot, I mean, they got a lot of experience from last year, because we were very young last year, and now they got experience. Had a rough week last week, gave it away. We just worked hard this week. They worked really hard. We knew we could maybe get advantage of them, and they just did a great job.
We challenged them, and O'Neill's a great football team, and they've got some really skilled athletes, so we know that they were a little bit inexperienced. They graduated a lot of guys up front that were real difference makers, and we brought a lot of guys back.
And the Cardinals' defense was legit. They gave up 155 yards, intercepted 2 Alex Tramer passes, improving to 2-1, rebounding from a loss to Wayne, and now they get to be tested again next week as they play Norfolk Catholic this Friday. It's a home game for Albion Boone Central-Newman Grove. It will be our game of the week at NorfolkDailyNews.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Don't tell your friends. No, do tell your friends. Also tell your friends that Norfolk Catholic is now 3-0 after a win over Wahoo, 24-19 win. The Knights have played a very difficult schedule. Wahoo just the latest. They beat Columbus Lakeview earlier. Lakeview is now 2-1. Wahoo Newman is also 2-1. That's the team Catholic beat to open its season. So this leads to the question, how good is Wayne, the team that beat Boone Central-Newman Grove? Even further, how good is West Point Behmer, a team that beat Arlington 39-8, the same team that Wayne beat 30-12 this week? Both teams are undefeated. We haven't heard or seen much of them. As the year goes on, that's going to change as they're all in the same district, along with Norfolk Catholic and Pierce and O'Neill. Let's talk about Pierce. They beat Columbus SCOTUS 63-32. Where did that come from? SCOTUS is now winless on the year, but they played 3 very good teams. 2 other teams have been very impressive up front. In Class D1, West Holt, 81-6 win over Niobrara Verdigris. Not even as impressive as Creighton. They're averaging 84 points per game through their first 2 games. Those 2 teams will meet on Friday. It will be a big game. Another very good offensive team, Lutheran High Northeast. They're in Class C2, 53.3 points per game through their first 3 games, and that includes their win this week over Shelby Rising City. Shelby Rising City is not a bad football team. Lutheran High Northeast made them look like they were. Lutheran High has done that so far to everyone on their schedule. This week they will play Lincoln Lutheran, a 2-1 team. That is also pretty impressive. They're coming off their first loss of the year, 20-19 against Lincoln Christian. This might be the best test for the Eagles and Corel Calamoose. Lutheran High Northeast is not the only impressive Class C2 team. Oakland Craig a 41-7 win over Crofton the week after they beat Battle Creek in overtime. Now they're going to have a big game at Ponca this week. Battle Creek, like I mentioned, they have another big game this week at Fremont Bergen. Bergen's only loss is to Ponca, Class C2 like C1. We don't know exactly who's who yet, but we'll find out shortly. In Class D2, there's a team that we definitely know they are who because of the buzz around them, and that's the Bloomfield Bees, a 48-12 win over Randolph. They outscored Randolph in the second half 40-0, and Quentin Moles had a Quentin Moles-like game, 34 carries for 242 yards. That's a lot more Quentin Moles-like than the 17 carries for 267 million yards he had the week before. On the season, Moles now 67 carries, 561 yards. Bloomfield is 3-0. We're going to have a lot of football in the paper and online. Don't forget to check NorfolkDailyNews.com all throughout Friday night and on Saturday morning, as well as the newspaper every day of the week. If you're not a subscriber now, call this number. Become one. If you don't, we'll talk about it again next week. I'm Tom Behmer for Norfolk Daily News.